Hi, welcome in everybody. My name is Donald White, and I will be presenting our um, modernization attempt with you guys. Should you guys choose to move forward with us as a company. So our goal as a team is transforming the enterprise network to make a more scalable, secure, and a software-defined approach. So the current state analysis of the network is we're going traditionally right now. You guys are essentially everything is hardwired. Um, you do have internet access, of course, but it all is granted and given via hardwire or CLI. And so we're going to be attempting to integrate that aspect with a more virtual or Wi-Fi approach, so to speak, and that would be through a wide area network. So, upon short review of what the administrators Rod had sent to us, essentially, it's a pretty high cost to maintain and to try to scale at the extent that you guys are. I know you guys have taken on many more locations. And so what we're trying to do is make the sustainability of the system a little easier to do by utilizing a more remote aspect. And so as a group, we're going to kind of switch this mentality of everything has to be plugged in to it can wirelessly be connected and managed. So, as I had mentioned, part of our goal is cost optimization, performance improvement, operational simplicity, scalability, and I would just like to mention that security. That's another aspect to this. We generally, the general public would assume that if it's hard connected or hardwired, essentially, it would be more secure. And that could be true for standalone systems with no data access or remote access, but most systems require some sort of remote access. And so by utilizing automation and going all the way to a cloud for the company, which is our pitch or our hope for you guys, is that you would be okay with maybe taking that leap. But for the time being, we'll essentially, when it comes to rolling things out, we'll do a hybrid model. And hopefully we can get there. And over time, by showing that the cloud works and that it can be more secure, hopefully we can um, help that sink in or help that adoption process become a little easier and palatable for you guys. So I'm going to skip forward to what you guys had mostly been interested. So phase one is assessment. We're already kind of doing that by even presenting this to you guys, but essentially we give us 2 months to make a full deep dive. Should you guys choose to go with us, so our staff, there will be about 10 to 15 of us who will come in, work side by side with all different levels of the company. Um, just to give you an example, like from the janitor who has to have access to a computer when he's logging in, or even badging in to the facility. Um, it's all connected. It's all part of the system. There's databases that come with all that stuff, and so that's what we want you to understand, that we're going to be taking a full deep dive on the entire system, because it all ends up connected somehow or other. Phase two is the pilot deployment. So essentially, we'll be on the back end, we'll be running um, the same day to day. There will be a selected number of staff, probably about 5 of us, that will be working side by side, take on some of the roles that some of your other staff members or administrators have, um, with your permission and with their oversight as well, because information is very crucial to keep secure. And so, just so that there's no security issues and or leakage, so to speak. And then phase three, when it comes to the rollout, we're giving ourselves about 4 to 12 months. And when I say 4 to 12 months, it's going to take a whole year to roll it out, but it'll be from 0 to 12 months in total is what we estimate that it'll take us about a year to get everything all situated, not an additional year. And so with that, there are some risks to everything. So since we'll be transitioning from a predominantly hardwire system to a more virtual and remote access, there stuff happens. Things get lost. Did we physically disconnect too early? It wasn't completely done rebooting or saving, backing up to the server, things like that. But just know that for that reason, we're going to do several backups before in that transition period so that there is no lapse. But let's say, as an example, Guitar Center. So should we lose a client list or something like that, all you guys have to do is reach out to one of our staff member that will be designated to you guys, and you have 24-hour access. That's a part of what we do within that 12-month period. Once we officially finish and 3 months beyond, we'll be on call to help you guys with anything, and no matter what, you guys can just reach out. That's just us covering the basis that there are some operational risks and project risks when it comes to the rollout and transitioning. But overall, our goal is leadership, innovation, and digital transformation. And I want to focus on the leadership aspect. The enabling innovation is why we're doing this and why your team reached out, seeing the need to be more scalable and faster and more modern as technologies get better. We know that 6G is right around the corner. Quantum computing is something else. And so we just want to be up to code and up to standard, because when we fall behind software wise and things like that, there are potential security risk with that. So there's patching constantly that happens. So this should make that faster. But in the leadership, we're going to shift from reactive operations and hopefully help your team get more proactive on strategy, and that empowering the IT teams, essentially giving them that support. I mean, that's the reason that management even reached out to us. We're trying to support the company as a whole, but really seeing how that backbone or that back end, things that are not really seen, backbone of the company is affected, and some of the limitations that come with not supporting that aspect of the company, which so far everyone's been really responsive. Thank you. And so I don't see this as an issue, but that's just a voice of concern, like in other companies that we experience. And in the end, we hope that it makes a cultural impact to the entire company that everyone would be encouraged and feel empowered to collaborate and support each other as you guys grow to be more scalable. So this is just an estimate. We estimate that there should be 30 to 50% cost reduction, and that's, I'm not talking about your day to day operation. I'm talking about as it is overall with just networking aspect and server storage and backup, um, desktops, things like that. Um, and not to mention, I think there's cost reduction in employee burnout necessity. Whereas instead of having, for your 12 locations, instead of having one administrator on call for every single location, this should be a little bit more manageable to cut that number down and reduce the load and the burnout on admins. So in conclusion, like I said, we're trying to get this mentality. We're going from being hardwired connected to think of like Wi-Fi, in a greater sense for those of you who don't understand or aren't in the industry. From complexity to control, this is all control panel based. When it comes to wide area networks, instead of having wire connection from thing to thing, everything can essentially connect to the same hub, as a more easier way that, or the easiest way I can put it. And just end with this thing: ready for today's demand and tomorrow's opportunities. It's kind of our slogan we're going for with your guys' team as we roll this out, and that's kind of the cultural adoption aspect that we want to try to encourage you guys and your team to have. And so that concludes our presentation. And with that, we'll take any questions. Go ahead, Stacey.